Hey now, I am taking a second run at the sketch painting of Lookout Point in Corona del Mar. So I've got another composition that was done in pencil of the area just above Pirates Cove in Corona del Mar. And this is for a commission, so I'm gonna work on the sky first, and that means getting some of the color that I'd like to get in here, which is going to be a kind of aqua and blue, some lighter than others, but I'm just going to start getting down one of these colors to see if I can pull this off. Again, this is a test to see if I can make it work for a larger canvas that's going to be 36 inches by 30, I believe, so it's a 4:3 ratio. And before going to such a big canvas, you really have to figure out if it's gonna freaking work. So we're going bright, high chroma, kind of like I've done in the past with the wedge wave, if you've ever seen that. This is a little small format canvas that I had already primed, so it's nice and dry. And these are going to be kind of purple dark clouds. I'm going to have a little bit of the blue sky peeking back out from over here, I believe. But this is kind of this is green and cerulean blue mixed to a bit of an aqua color. So that there's going to be some blue peeking through what's mostly sunset yellows and orange down here. And some of that orange will travel through the water where there's a little bit of a bend because some waves come through here. This is a jetty over here, which is the entrance to the Newport Harbor, and that's the other jetty, and this would be Big Corona over here. There are some palm trees, and this is a stairway. Pirates Cove is the little beach down here, and so really this is a test visually to see if I can get this sucker to work on a larger format, but I'm just gonna try to make it look somewhat like I want it to prior to going to the big format. So I know at least in a visual way prior that I can pull it off before I put a ton of paint on this giant wood panel that I'm gonna end up putting it on. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go darker up to upper right, but mixed with some of that green. And here we go. And I think I had it when I penciled it, I had a little cloud in here, so I think I'm gonna put purple in there for that one. And the horizon line's about there. There are layers. I've got kind of sections for layers of orange and yellow that I'm going to have for the sunset below there. But these are just the blue parts that are peeking through for now. And I believe that there will be a little blue peeking through here too, along a ridge of clouds that are going to be more kind of purpley gray over that way. So, and this could have a little white in there, a little lighter that way. And what I think is going to be happening is that as the sun comes up through here and comes down that way, we'll have some kind of dazzle that goes. But this is going to be more so than the last one I did. This is the last sketch that I did. This one is going to be higher chroma color, brighter, bigger, bolder kind of look to it. And hopefully I can pull it off. But so I'm just going to do the sky for this particular Instagram Live and get it done to where I can maybe. And then so over here is going to be the kind of plum, which would be this kind of color. And so these are kind of going bright. I could and probably should cut this purple with some gray, which I don't have on the palette, but I will. Where are you? There you are. So I'm gonna knock it down a little bit with some darker Payne's gray, which is kind of just a funny way of using black, but it's not entirely black. And so like the clouds that are this way are going to be fairly dark, so they'll get outlined and have some white around them, but I want to keep this kind of chunky, and really some of the clouds that are dark are going to be almost like the horizon line is very similarly dark purpley. So as that comes in later, this will be really bright and orange, but there's a bit of and even Catalina way out here is going to be, I don't know how much of Catalina I want to show. It's probably not much really when I think about it, but there is going to be a little purple to the look of the horizon, and in contrast to the sunset that's going to be above it. So there's some this horizon, and there's a tree here that I have sketched, and that'll be just more of a sienna green that's going to come later. I'm not going to do too much detail on this. I just want to see composition wise if I can make the blue of the bay, which is going to be similar to this coming through here, if I can make it work just as a composition. And then I'm going to get another brush here, but you'll be able to see that against this blue and purple, and really there's going to be pink in here too. So let's say these are even more kind of pink down. As this gets to the horizon, it's going to be a lighter pink as that goes down. So I'm going to blend in some of this white and pick up a little more of the purple as it comes down to give a shape to these things. And then as I go up here, we'll see. We will see. But this kind of extends. This cloud kind of extends this way toward the blue, and the blue's peeking behind the clouds. So there's gonna be more blue back in here behind the. There's gonna be kind of a darker blue up in here. So if I were to do, it's gonna be darker up in here. So as this reaches the cloud cover, which is kind of purpley and white over on the left, there's gonna be a darker, and this is just typical because my paint's a little messed up, but there's a chunk in there that I just got out. And then that, as it goes over, we'll get less sky blue and more kind of greeny aqua as it goes to the right, meaning like that. And I might lighten some of that up too, but here we go. So you got more of the blue sky coming dark to the left, this aqua peeking through on the right, and there may even be some, just so before we get to the sunset, there's going to be some action below. That's kind of green aqua. And I might have some lighter. I think in here I'm going to have some of the orange coming through as the sun might be setting somewhere around here. The orange and yellows of that are going to kind of trail upwards and go that way. And so it actually looks pretty good. for what I'm looking for. And this up here might even have some yellow, but that's not the right color. So it's too much yellow. So what I'm talking about is more of kind of it's not quite it. There's way too much yellow. So that's the kind of yellow that's going to be down in here toward the sun as it goes to the horizon, and kind of trailing up this way to the clouds. Much more bright yellow as it goes. And kind of, this is going to be way brighter yellow in here. I've got, this brush is kind of my problem because I've got too much different paint mixed onto it. But this is kind of the map I'm looking for as this, and there's going to be orange surrounding in here too. So this is kind of the sunny bright area that's dominating the middle, upper right here. There's going to be orange in here too. So, but I'm just trying to do as small a strokes as I can with this brush size. Again, just a sketch that I'm doing here. And there will be some bright clouds that way. And, oh yeah, I mixed paint that's not supposed to be on there. But easy enough. I will clean this guy. And I'm gonna go, some of what else is happening here is a orangey. And I think you can see that. I'm gonna make that over there, an orangey red that's also part of this sky. So that's gonna be in there. The brush is, again, pretty big. So I'm just trying to get it to work without going into the blue that's already set there. I mean, I could get really nitpicky and do a much smaller brush, but I'm not going to, because I just want to get a feel for what the sky could be, and then I will. And I'm going to cover up that bad blue that I got there. And that is going to have some orange. And what will happen is that as this is going to be blue in here, and some dark blue along the coast as it comes to the beach here. Sandy stuff there. I'm actually liking how the sky looks here. So sandy browns here, and then the pattern of blue coming through the harbor. But down in here, it's possible that as the sun sets on the water, it may pick up a little of this kind of line as it goes. These were, in the photo reference I was looking at, these are way too big, the yellow, but there were lines of kind of pattern as the waves were coming through here. So there could be a little dance of light across the water, which I think will look cool. I'll get that to dry before I start going heavy blue on that. But the idea is to have this sunset in here, and then it's gonna, when it hits some dazzle through this way, it's gonna have a little bit of a journey that comes down into the bay. And then there, I might even have some people over here on the left, just tiny little suggestions of bodies down here in the lower left. But you can imagine that is gonna be significant when it goes onto a giant canvas. I mean, this thing's going to be 30 inches, 36 wide, and I think 30, maybe not that tall, but it's basically going to be I think a 3/4 ratio, and there's going to be plenty of room to make what are crude lines here on this drawing into more of a detail story in the larger format. And so what would be happening down here, you've got this kind of grayish purple clouds going here, and then as that gets down to the horizon, it's going to kind of lighten up and fuzz down in here. I got too much. This is not going to be blue down here. It's going to be more of this, more of a pink purple down there. So like as it goes to the horizon, it's going to be more picking up what this action is down here. That's still too aqua, but as that reaches the horizon and butts up against the sunset, it's a little more muted over there. And some of that will come into the water here, because that's kind of what's going on. That's gonna be brighter, and more blue over here. So this is the actual big corona little area in here. But that sky is starting to look like possibly what I want. And what I would want story-wise is a little more of this orange coming through here against that, as this sun over here is setting, and as it deals with some of the clouds around, I just kind of want a trail of story that goes that way. So this is not terribly bad. I think this is me getting closer to having confidence to going to the big format. The sky in particular. I think I can do this now. I mean, really, it's almost like storyboarding for a movie. You do cheap cartoons on sketchbooks in order to not waste the money on the CGI before you're making Star Wars or whatever the heck you're not that I'm making Star Wars here, but you know what I mean? You just sketch it first so you can not waste time and resources on building it out in the larger format later. So let's say this. So there's the jetty. I have more skyline to deal with here, so I'm gonna go more yellow and kind of pinks down there. So as I go away from the sun, and there'll be some white in here too. Don't want it to get too mustardy, but I can tinker with this color as I get a little more of the orange in there. But I believe as we get out of the center and the setting sun business of it, that I will be able to do more of the pink down below as it goes, kind of fuzzes to the horizon, meaning like this. As that goes lower, as we get down toward the ocean, there's going to be more of this muted kind of purple. Kind of sky I think would work. Thanks for joining everyone that's here. A couple guys, cool, sweet. So I think the sky is going to work that way, and if I were to attempt the water down here, this is still wet, the yellow, but I was just showing how the line of sparkle is going to come through the sunset and down to here. But let's say I was going to do what this bay is going to actually look like next to the Pirates Cove down here and the water in here. I would be doing, let me get a different brush, but I would be doing darker purples and to accentuate the coast here. So I would be, well, up here I'd be doing some of that and that coming through here as well, dark toward the horizon. I might even darken it up more back that way, but especially here along where the water line is, I would be going almost like that kind of purpley and sky blue along here as this follows and this is kind of like, there's a thing out here that has a lifeguard stand. These are some rocks, and so those are going to be more like whatever you call it, sienna, dark colored rocks there, and there's a little tower, kind of a lifeguard type tower thing here. But the darks along the beach for sure. Same over here. This is a little jetty that's going to be over there, and then this is the other side of the harbor entrance. That will take, in the larger format, that's going to take way more detail. But let's say the ocean comes in. It's going to be, as the sun's coming through here, it's going to be kind of lighter through the middle part with the blue. Kind of some of this. My problem here with the yellow is that I put it down already, so I don't want to mix in there because that's going to immediately go green. But those are just kind of guides for me later to do sparkle, kind of ripples across there. They're too big, and I could smudge it out, but since this is just a sketch, I'll just keep going. And so that is going to be harbor water coming through these jetties, and try to look at, see what I got here. Yeah, there's going to be some lighter and some definition along these rocks here. This is rocks. It's basically a cliff thing here, and the detail is just not going to cut it on this because I messed with the yellow first. I would usually do these highlight lines later, like the final thing on a painting, but just for the sake of the sketch here, I'm gonna want that dark that way along the horizon. And the story of the sun's gonna come through here. What is it gonna be? Let's see what I want. almost want a different kind of blue, ultramarine blue through. It's like too much purple here, but that is going to be more the and for sure some of the aqua in here. Just leaving a little area in here with my sketch marks. They're going to show me where that lifeguard tower. And if I am getting to a point where I'm liking this, digging it, and thinking it looks like a go, I'm going to go to the larger format, which is going to be this wood board, which is really big. And that, by the way, like if anyone's interested in materials and such, that big board is masonite board. And what I do is, so it gets to the point of archive quality, masonite board, what I do is I prime it with, interestingly, and I found this on YouTube with this other kind of famous artist guy does it. You prime it with Rust-Oleum. Everyone knows what that is, like from the 70s, Johnny Bench and his ads for Rust-Oleum, which is like, you could paint a iron bench with Rust-Oleum and it would keep it from rusting. But Rust-Oleum works great on these big wood boards because it kind of turns it into something that would even last longer than a canvas archive in a museum. Like this Rust-Oleum's, it's kind of bulletproof. Kind of bulletproof. So again, this is going to be the Newport jetty side over here, and this is Big Corona over there, just a tiny slice. This is Pirates Cove, and I think this is actually gonna do it. This is gonna make it. This is a completely different project over here because it's sandstone and a ton of kind of what are gonna be golden hour shadows on there, and some palm tree here, or bushes, another palm tree there, and this long palm tree poking up through there, and then trying to keep a slight definition of jetty there. Oh, that. Let's see. So there's actually going to be more in the way of water that goes surrounding that tree, and it's against the water when you get right down to it. So I can actually fill in some of that. But again, just a sketch, just trying to see if it's going to work, and I'm getting encouraged, so I will march on with this because I'm liking the colors, I'm liking the composition, and this is nonsense down here again. Why don't I just do this to show you that I can pretty much, I think I can get rid of the yellow and then just make it more of the blue that it's gonna be. Again, if you're just joining, I had the yellow in there to show kind of a ripple effect of what the sunset would look like coming through there. So let's say I just, erase. Oil paint is pretty dang forgiving in that sense. So you can deal with all kinds of editing, more so than you could with obviously something like watercolor. And so here's the bay, but the bay needs more definition. So as I come through here, I want to put in bigger strokes of kind of blockier fun as this gets definition. So, and it gets more definition as it comes toward the rocks here, and then kind of fuzzed out a little more as it goes toward the jetty, and maybe a little sea definition there. And so these are going to be a trail of rocks to a little lifeguard tower thingy that's there if you've ever been down to Pirates Cove. And it's like so purple down here, but I need to have darks down here to kind of define the and I'm going to pick up some of this dark off of here and just show you where this tower would be and such that comes off. But that's going to be sienna, dark sienna, black almost. Ooh, I could do that. I could actually do that with that Payne's gray that I have here. So that is rock, and then there's kind of a little tower there, which I would do in much more detail on that big 30 by 36 there, 36 by 30 that I have. And shoreline, so this is sand, these are going to be rock. There's dark parts, there's a staircase, this is a jetty, and there's this funny little sub jetty there. This is where like the bait barge would be in there. If I were to really go for it in this sketch, I would have, if I was going to do a ton of detail, there could be a bait barge right here. And on the larger format, I might actually do that. So I think it works composition wise. And then what you might, what you might, on the larger one, what I might do is, so now that I have this at the blue that it needs to be, and so let's say the sunsets, if this were dry, this is what I would do later, just so I don't tinker with blues and blues and greens with yellow and white. I just don't want to deal, but I'm just going to do it just for the sake of it. So let's say the sun's coming down here. You might, I might just set up this kind of stuff that comes through, and then there could be a sparkle as there are waves that come through here. That's too big, I believe. But and maybe there along this jetty there's going to be some definition of, for sure there'll be kind of the guano from the birds on top of that jetty. So I'm going to go darker on that jetty, but like just as an example, you could have a slight turn of water through here as these waves that come through refract into the bay. Anyway, there it is. So the big challenge would be how to get the color right on the sandstone over here and get the contrasts, because there's caves and all kinds of weird stuff over here, and a staircase too. So I think it's going to work. So I think I'm so much closer to actually move into the big canvas that I might even do that and not do the sandstone in the sketch. Anyway, a pleasure demonstrating here. Thank you so much for coming and checking it out. Much appreciated. Peace. I'll be firing it up again soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.